Go. Hi everyone, my name is Ginny. I am a Michigan homeschool mom here with my friend Missy, and we're just going to be chatting for a couple minutes about some questions that you may have.
Yeah, welcome to Homeschool University Michigan edition. My name is Missie Potter. I am a homeschool mom of 9, and I run the conference for Mission. So the Inch Conference, which is typically in May. So,
it's an awesome conference. Yeah. Could you tell everybody why you started homeschooling?
I started homeschooling when my oldest was about to enter kindergarten. We did the whole, so what are we going to do, right? And we really looked into the local Christian school and specifically went the spring before she would have started school in the fall and did just went to visit the school. And I knew when we sat there in the classroom that it was not for us. My heart was very aware of the fact that I would be sending my child off for an entire day without me. And so it was really at that moment where I felt more convicted about wanting to be that primary influence in her life. And so we left there that day, and it really confirmed for me that was not for us.
Mm-hmm. It's a long day.
It is a long day. Mm-hmm. And even as we made the decision, because I had a sister that was homeschooling, so it wasn't completely foreign, which I think a lot of people have some kind of connection when they decide to homeschool, whether it's a friend or a neighbor or a family member that introduces them to the idea of homeschooling. Because we've been so trained into, the typical trajectory. It's not until you stop and think about why you're doing what you're doing that you may consider otherwise, or something's broken and it's not working. And for me, that was broken. I didn't want to be away from my children. So that was the beginning for us. And I will say I did not, I did not want to send my children to high school. Like I was kind of like, okay, we'll start this homeschool thing and we'll see how it goes. But when it comes to high school, there's no way I could provide a good enough education. That was that was where I stood. That was how I felt. And so I kind of thought, well, I can do kindergarten, right? I mean,
and isn't that just how it goes? It just becomes this sort of year to year, you take the next step, you don't have to decide everything about high school when you have a 5-year-old,
totally true.
And by the time you're there, you're probably going to have so much confidence under your belt, and you're going to have all these other reasons why you're homeschooling, so are you still homeschooling?
So, like I mentioned earlier, we have 9 children. This year I graduate my 5th from Homeschool Potter Academy. Which is pretty fun. So I will be over the hump, over halfway done. And I wouldn't change a thing. I have loved having my kids home. It is not always easy. So I don't mean to say, and loving it and not wanting to change anything, there are days that are hard. There just are. It's a lot of work.
And there are public school days that are hard too. And so I used to be a public school teacher, and I talk to parents about that. They have a really hard time. Their kid comes home and is being bullied. Maybe they don't have the full story, or sort of these. So there's, on either path that you choose, there are hard things to deal with.
For sure. Because we're parents, right? Mm-hmm. And because we want the best for our children. But as we started our homeschool journey, it really became a conviction for us. We wanted to be the primary role and the primary influencer in our children's lives. We wanted to be with them. We wanted to choose our curriculum. We wanted to be able to disciple our children. They need God's word every day to be able to have conversations, to be able to talk about what happened in class, which of course I know you do that, but to have the time with your children, to not feel rushed, to when kids are coming home and they're going on to sports, or their life is busy, even as a homeschooler, and being home with our children.
You wish you still had more time.
You wish you still had more time. So, so all that to say, we did and are even though we said we wouldn't, because God changes us, right?
Yes.
He changed.
And He gives you what you need.
And He gives us what we need.
Year by year.
I remember thinking, though, and realizing at those high school years that if my children went to school, they would come home and want to be with their friends. Where was my time with them? And wanting to be, they still, I mean, they're young. They're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. They still need me as their parent. And when was I going to give them that time and the time for that discipleship that I really believe needs to happen? So
what do you wish you'd known when you started homeschooling?
What do I wish I had known when I started homeschooling? I just repeated the question. I wish I had known that I didn't need to mimic the public school, that my day didn't need to look the same as what it does in the school, that was okay if it was different, that class didn't need to start at 9 with their books open, and that we didn't need to work until 3:30 or 4, that was okay. So I guess I wished I had known to relax a little bit, and that it was okay that it was different.
Yeah, I think that's something that I realized when I first started homeschooling. The public school is very systematic, almost like an assembly line.
Yeah.
You know, you got to pass from this to this to this, and kids really aren't wired that way.
Right.
So homeschooling gives you this flexibility, and there's a lot of variety. From family to family, and that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
What words of encouragement or advice would you offer to those who are considering homeschooling or just starting out?
Yeah. I think that I would say 2 things. To relax and enjoy your children. I think the journey can be tricky, but it's worth it. You know, it's like everything that can be hard, that when you put in that hard work, you come out so satisfied, right? So, but to relax and to enjoy the time with your kids. A lot of our memories are built around just reading aloud together. And those, even my children would say, those are their favorite homeschool memories, is the times we sat together and just enjoyed a book. I remember them saying, you know, Mom, can you read one more chapter? Read one more. And that's the beauty. You can do it. You can read one more chapter, unless the baby's crying, but
Right.
but, you know, you have the flexibility to do what is best for your family at that time. So, I think I said 2, but I can't remember what the other one was. To relax and to enjoy your children. I guess that's 2.
It is. Yep. The journey is good. And the journey is a modeling one.
Yeah.
Where we're modeling to our kids how you adjust to life and changes, and year to year it looks a little different, because nothing is static, and that will help them as they become adults as well.
To learn to adapt with that change. That's good.
Yeah, there's so much. So
yeah, it's really good.
we just want to encourage you. It's going to be great, and your kids will thrive at home, and we just hope that you can utilize the rest of the resources.
Yeah, there are lots of resources. I actually asked this question, what advice would you give to a new homeschooler, on Facebook? And so below, if you want to look below our chat, you'll see a lot of those listed. So there's lots of great nuggets of advice. And, you know, the one other thing I just would throw out there would be to find some families to do it together, whether you do classes or enrichment days, or you get together for field trips. It's just great to be with others that are along the same journey. So anyway, enjoy the Homeschool University, and hopefully we chat soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.